Afternoon. It's August the 1st, and we're going to try another round of container carrots down here in southern Mississippi. And this variety we're going to try is called the Best Nantes. They're a pelleted seed. I'm sorry, I'm trying to let you see this, but I have to set the camera up in the shade because it's just so hot right now. Well, we're going to hit, we're hitting hundreds now, so we're going to try to get this stuff done early. And you can see the pelleted seeds in the bottom there. And they're a pretty nice looking carrot. I've never grown this variety, and I don't have good luck with pelleted seeds, but we're going to give her a go anyway. And what we have is a 15-gallon container, and I've wrapped it in our potting mix bags, flipped them inside out to help with the heat on these pots. We're getting down here, the heat right now is so hot down here that even when I grab a hold of these pots to move them around, it's very hard to handle them without gloves because they're so hot, they'll basically burn your fingers, even up here under the shade cloth. And we're with 40% shade cloth, but the sun comes in on the sides and heats these pots up, so we gotta get some white around these pots to kind of throw that sun a different direction, block off the sun. I'm out of my foam insulation board, so I'm going to get some more of that and wrap these pots. It does help tremendously with keeping the soil temperatures down. So to the potting mix, this is just used potting mixes, a couple of different kinds. And what I had to do was go in there and add some more perlite. I bought a big bag of perlite from our local nursery, and we've added some more perlite into that. And we're going to add some high-yield bone meal and some tomato and vegetable fertilizers. It's all organic into this pot with this potting mix, and then we're gonna plant these seeds. So I'll set these seeds right here where the sun's not going to blow them away, because the wind's not going to blow them away, rather. It's kind of hard today, or blowing pretty hard today. This morning it was blowing my flag. I had to take the flag down. I thought it was going to rip the flag apart, but now it's starting to slow down a little bit. But we'll get this bone meal here, and this wheelbarrow, I just took the soil out of this pot this morning, and we're just going to add some bone meal to what's in the wheelbarrow and some vegetable and tomato food, organic fertilizer. We'll stir it up and put it right back in the pot. So what I have here is a tablespoon. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of bone meal, and 2 tablespoons of this 3-5-6. We want a low nitrogen fertilizer in here because we're trying to grow carrot roots, not carrot tops. And there's 1. And there's 2. And that's all I'm going to add in here, because I can always top dress, go back and top dress these pots, which is probably what I'm going to do. The potting mixes that we've used were used potting mixes, so all of the food that was in there, fertilizer rather, has probably been used up. So we amended it back with some fertilizer, and we can top dress these carrots. Lord willing, they sprout. Okay. Now we'll get this soil back into this 15-gallon container. Okay. Now, this potting mix has set through several rains that we got last week, and it's still kind of moist. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my divots in here and plant these carrot seeds. And then after we get the carrot seeds planted, we're going to water it in real heavy. Well, maybe about, I'll probably pour at least a gallon on top of these guys and get them moistened in real nice, since they are pelleted seeds. And this is, this says the maturity dates can take up to 75 days. And my experience with planting carrots, even back home in central Indiana before we moved down here this year, it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get them to sprout up and to start, you know, coming above ground. So I'm hoping that with it being August the 1st, maybe middle of August, we'll have these carrots up above ground, or maybe the 3rd week in August, they'll be up above ground. And then we'll just say, let's see, we'll start our count. I always start my day counting after the seeds have come above ground or sprouted. I don't put a seed in the ground no matter what it is and start this time by the day I sprouted it. You may do that. I don't do that. I always use the countdown after the seeds, whatever it is, have sprouted above ground. Then we'll start our count on that. So that should put us maybe middle, let's see, if I sprout up about middle of August, we'll be middle of September, and then that's 30 days. Middle of October, that's 60 days. So we may be getting into November down here on these guys, depending on how quickly they sprout. So we're hoping that with this variety, it's made for, it says the descriptions, I'll let you read it right here if I can get it to focus. It's made for, this variety's made for heavier soils. Back home in our raised bed boxes we had set up for carrots, it was just Pro Mix, which was basically just peat moss and perlite and mycorrhiza. Well, this has got some chunky leftover remnants of pine bark nuggets. So I've got another variety of carrots that we're going to try also, but I'm going to do that in the potting mix because it's not. I want to use that in the pro mix because I don't want to have the problems with my carrots forking. We still may get some carrots to fork off of these, but these are made for a heavier soil, so that's why we're going to try these. So let's go ahead and get some holes made and get some of these seeds sown. So I usually start around the perimeter and then work my way in. And then I'll go in between these holes. And then we'll do one in the center. Okay. And I'm just going to put a couple of seeds in each hole, and then I'll come back and thin them if they sprout. And these are a nice seed. You see, you can get your hands on these, your fingers on them, and get them in the hole where your regular carrot seeds are. They're kind of hard to plant. They're kind of hard to not overplant. Usually when I use regular carrot seeds, I'm ending up with 4 or 5 seeds in each hole. But we can grab these. These are nice. And you can see that you've sown these with them being a pinkish color. Okay. And I try to space these guys about, I think I've got like 4 inches of spacing. They say 3 inch, but I'm probably at least 3 inches and 4 inches in spacing, probably more like 4 inches around. So, you know, I don't want to overcrowd them so that we have little bitty carrots. We had we harvested carrots last week in this container, and man, they did terrible. They weren't but about I used the soil that I bought a truckload of when we first got down here in February. I went to a garden shop and a mulch place, and they had garden soil, but it was, well, less than being desired. Let's just leave it at that. As soon as the rains come in here, it turned into nothing but a hard, mucky mess. And when I even cut it with potting mixes, I think that stuff was full of grazon. So I had to empty all of my pots out and dump that soil. I actually threw that soil down in the woods. We're not using it for anything. So we're going with potting mixes this first year while I'm actually, while we're here. You can see over there, we're actually building some soils and some compost. We've got pine bark nuggets over there, some piles of that. We've got 2 or 3 layers of piles of leaves. We've got a compost pile where I've been turning leaves. We got a big pile of grass clippings. And we're going to just mix all that together, and eventually we'll be able to get some soil like we had back home in Indiana after amending it for around 20 years. So let me cover these guys back up, and then we'll put some water on them, and we'll call it done. And I'm only planting these things about a 1/4 inch deep. You don't want to plant your carrot seedlings too deep because they may struggle to come up. And there we go. They're covered. And my watering can's over there. I got to fill it up and get some water in it. And I'll probably just put like a 1 gallon on top of these to saturate the tops and to get that clay coating to start breaking down. And with any luck, here in a few weeks, hopefully at least by the end of the month, we'll have some of these carrots coming up. And we'll make some further videos to or future videos rather, to show you if they make it or not. Thanks for watching.